Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in today, we welcome you in. We're going to be talking about complaints and customer service in this episode because I find both are extremely hilarious. Now, having 3 decades of customer service in my background, I can tell you a lot of crap goes on behind the scenes that basically tells you nobody has a clue about customer service. The first one, let's talk about it. When people call up and they have a complaint and you can't fix it right away for a variety of reasons, it's stuck in customs, it's stuck in transit, whatever it is, they love to throw out this old chestnut. I'm not happy with this. I'm going to get you fired. Okay, first of all, it's very difficult to call somebody up and ask for anybody else to be fired unless you have some overwhelming evidence on your side. Most people who take a clinical, dry approach and are not bending over and kissing the customer's buttocks are the ones who wind up with this threat. It's absolute nonsense. Over the years, I've been terminated twice. Once because of management incompetence, and it wasn't for anything that I did. And the second time, they were terminating everybody in the entire company one at a time, so that way it didn't look like a layoff when it was a layoff. Neither one had anything to do with my customer service skills. Let me assure you, I'm not the world's best customer service person. I'm very technical, I'm very proficient. I'll tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Or if I'm forced to lie for whatever reason, I will tell you the lie and the whole lie. And I've been told this person or that person is going to get me fired. Yet water off a duck's back. It is a little more scary when you have management that buys into these stupid threats. Again, if a customer calls up and says, "Oh, I'm going to get you fired," and you actually get fired over that, you are already on pretty shaky grounds. And as long as you're competent in the rest of your job, you're going to be set as far as any complaints go. They might take a side, they might decide to talk to you, but they're not actually going to terminate you because it's awfully tough to replace a trained employee. As much as companies do it, they'd rather have you and the customer than lose either one of you. So it becomes somebody else's job to go in and soothe them. We used to have actually he wasn't a manager, he was an executive. And he liked to just hang around in our operations office, just hoping to catch hold of something. And he had the worst argument structure ever. He'd say, I received a complaint about you from random company. And they'd say, that's not what worries me. What worries me is that's the complaint that we got. How many complaints are we missing out on? Now on the surface, his logic seems sound because not everybody's going to complain. But everybody, how do I put this? You also can't prove how many complaints you don't get. Mathematically, it's called proving a negative. You don't have any evidence, but you're inferring it from the strength of a single complaint. Now, that's a losing gambit. Most of the people I've worked with have never been mathematicians. So, proving the statistical likelihood of another complaint is awfully difficult. It's one of the things that they used to threaten, and it honestly got comical. Like, we do imitations of this guy. And you know what? He was so far up the chain, he should have never been involved in our level at the first place. I'm a firm believer in management by walking about. If you're there to assist. He would just sit there, hang out at the front desk, rub his hand over his face, sigh, and then walk out. And that wouldn't matter whether you're doing a good job or a bad job. And let me be honest, I was not the world's best customer service agent, but I was far from the bottom. This same company also had no idea what the idea of customer service meant. They're always encouraging us build a relationship with the customer so that they feel more satisfied. Well, no, the problem is what the customer wants and what we can deliver are always two different things, and we try to make them come together as much as we can. And they didn't understand that. So they'd say, build a relationship, but get on and off the phone because we need you to answer phones quicker. How do you expect any rational person to be able to do that? If we stripped everything down to brass tacks, and brass knuckles would have been nice, and we did the bare minimum phone call with a few customers that knew the drill, we could have a phone call down to 15 seconds. That's right. We'd have all the information entered, all the data we needed, all the fields filled in. We could do it in 15 seconds. Oh, but you're not building a relationship with the customer. Not that I particularly care to. Oh, we had to send the salesman in to cover for what you did. Well, why'd you send the salesman in? Like, the salesman's job is to go in and get a contract or to sue them and say things are going to get better. So they show up with their coffee and their donuts. They have a meeting with the higher ups instead of the person calling in the order, which may have the issue. And somehow this is considered a logical step. And no, it never made sense to me either. Why involve the salesman? They sold this person on the contract. Another problem, customers always overestimate their contribution to the company. Say you order a hamburger every single day. Yeah, you are contributing. You're definitely a customer worth keeping happy, provided there's not a major personality conflict or something to that extent. But realistically, if I've also got the contract to the local school board and they do hamburger, pizza day, anything like that, guess which contract I'm going to fulfill? The big one. We used to have this international company who were big. We were sniffing around the contract, but I can tell you the person who called in the orders, she was unpleasant to work with. And yeah, to be honest, basically I stopped answering my phone and let somebody else answer it instead. Just because that was the easiest way for me to deal with her and not actually deal with her. And she said, do you know who I am? I work for these jerks, and I give you so much business. You said this one skid a day. This other business is not so big, but they still give us a ton, like multiple trailer switches a day. You're trying to compare yourself to them? That's just disingenuous. Unfortunately, most customers figure they're the only customer, and you can't possibly be getting any money from anybody but them. Again, you're a person that orders a burger every day, and I've got a contract for the school board. Who do you think my attention goes toward? Of course, taking care of all the kids. Now, I'm going to try to take care of you as well, but they're my priority. That's where I'm making my money. And customers simply do not understand that. And it's regrettable. It really is. But these people overestimate their value to the company. Never had a problem with that multiple truckload person. The one skid international person, just a nightmare. And yeah, these people also have to realize their threats are not as intimidating as they think. I was on probation and I got this complaint from a customer. Again, they were threatening to get me fired and stuff like that. Never heard anything from it. Don't know why. Yet, with these conflicting directives of move as quickly as possible and still take time for customer service, so I started a little bit of malicious compliance. We had a mission statement on the wall, and I took time to read that ridiculous statement. And it was funny because, you know, here at blank, you know, we value your freight. We want to build our trust with you, blah, blah, blah. All this nonsense. And then after about, 30, 45 seconds, I heard one of the more experienced people, what the hell is he doing? And my manager, who was unpleasant to say the least, actually stuck up for me and said, he's actually the one doing it right. We're all supposed to be doing that every time somebody calls in. The experienced guy, who is actually a really nice guy, what? Why would we do that? Like I said, I was screwing around. But that to them was customer engagement. Yeah, can you imagine that? That's customer engagement. Reading the mission statement. Utter bollocks, to be honest with you. But see, these are the pressures that managers, especially executives, are under. Why are we down 40,000 units from this particular customer? Oh, I'll just talk to my people and make sure that we take more phone calls. I'll talk to my people and make sure we stay on the phone longer. Both are not the solution. The solution is let people take phone calls organically. And when you do that, your satisfaction rates will go up. Do you know what's even more important than that? Making sure stuff goes out on time with the services ordered. We had a load of tropical fish come up. Yeah, only one time I've ever seen tropical fish come by, and somebody had taken the box out of the truck and left it on an unheated dock at a long weekend at minus 40 degrees. I walked by Monday, and since I was the first one on shift, I look at that little bit of panic goes into your head because I know how expensive tropical fish can be. You'd be surprised. And they pack them up pretty good because they know tropical fish don't like sub-zero temperatures. But an entire weekend at minus 40, your insulation is not doing squat. And yeah, I still don't know how much was in that. Tropical fish can be angelfish, which are relatively cheap, or they can be, discus fish. And discus fish are like 40 to 50 bucks a pop, and that's for the juveniles. I don't know how much money we lost that day, but it was simple carelessness. I mean, the offices were heated. I wouldn't like to leave fish in a bag for 72 hours, but the same token, I don't know how long you should leave them in there for. But you got an unhappy customer there because those fish are probably sold to somebody. And if not, they're intending to fill their tanks and sell them to somebody. And here we are, we've just committed murder on a bunch of poor innocent creatures that never even got to see the light of day. So yeah, improve that part of the customer service. Improve your delivery. And that's how you get satisfied customers. And that's something for some reason management cannot see. They see time on the phone, they see, complaints, and most importantly, they see delivery percentage, but they don't see why. They don't see all those little important things that just don't make sense. But we're still supposed to be these happy, friendly people, even when the customer on the phone is clearly upset. They've clearly been pushed beyond their limit. And yeah, they're not going to take it anymore. Feel free to hum the song in your head if you want. We need to enter a new era where customer service is better integrated with the customer. Now I understand, you know, Skip the Dishes and Uber Eats and stuff like that are doing a pretty good job. And please note, I don't actually like these services much, but they're doing a pretty good job in integrating the customer, providing tracking. Uh, that's how I know about that. One of the local grocery stores does the exact same thing. And with the experience I have, I could turn around and call them up and say, hey, this guy's going the wrong way. When he shows up, by the way, he's got one light out. That's illegal to be on the road. But I wasn't being the jerk customer. I was just saying, hey, these are problems. Get them fixed. And they even said, oh, I'll give you X amount of points. I don't want your points. I want this guy to deliver safely and in some semblance of a proper order. Keep your points. I'll keep doing what I'm doing, which is making sure that you have eyes on the ground. Because your driver will notice when the police pull them over. Notice I didn't threaten to get anybody fired. I wasn't there at my front door with the grocery guy saying, you gotta fix your front light or I'm calling your superior. No, it was just call the superior. The driver, what's the right way to say this? Not that they don't care, but their priority is simply stacking that stuff at my front door and getting on to the next call. Well, do you know what a dispatcher's job is? Getting the calls set up so that way your employees can let you know, hey, I'm already full on my truck. I don't have the ability to fit anymore, and you can adapt to it and do real dispatching, which is simply trying to figure out how to get all these bits of freight in by the time all these places close, which is harder than you think. And by the way, we know when a customer is lying. I forget who it was, but we had a customer, they closed at 5 p.m. And they would insist, oh, we close at 5 p.m., etc. And I kept saying to my supervisor, this is not true. I've picked up freight there 24 hours a day. We investigated, and it turned out the day shipper wanted to have everything cleared up so that they could go home and leave nothing for the night shift to do. The night shift was perfectly happy to work with us. They're like, yeah, we're here 24 hours a day, all night. But the day shift guy was still lying. Now, did he get into any trouble? Hell no. That wasn't going to happen. But had we done the same thing, I can't even imagine what we would have gone through. So there's a double standard in customer service. I've already explained to you the real meaning of the customer is always right, and it has nothing to do with an individual customer. The individual customer can still be, to quote Kevin Smith, an asshole. But if all the customers walk in and they decide they don't want your pizza, chances are you're better served by getting that pizza off your menu. But customers have misinterpreted that to think they're right no matter what, and I'm not going to put up with you. Well, fine. There's tons of places out there, and for every one we lose, if our salesmen are halfway decent, or if we're halfway decent, they'll switch on their own. That's the way the market works. And I can tell you information is traded behind the scenes. But anyways, with that, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Silverlight Show. If you did, please like, share, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Don't forget to click the button at the bottom, the bell icon. That way you can be notified every single time a new episode comes out. And we hope you have a fantastic day.